Hey, folks. This may be a shocker for some of you to learn, but having a sort of mid-level sized to smallish podcast um, with no paywall or ads or any monetization of any kind doesn't make you rich. Which we are not. I know you assumed that we do this full time and we are all fabulously rich, but we are not. Something that we are interested
We're
in
just
doing.
fabulous.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, that for sure. Um, Something that we are interested in potentially doing, and it's something that some listeners have floated before, saying they'd be willing to contribute to, is starting a Patreon. And before we get to doing that, we wanted to hear feedback from y'all to let us know what kind of bonus content you would be interested in seeing on a Patreon. We already have some ideas, but we would love to hear what y'all are thinking, what y'all are willing to pay for, etc. So please hit us up either in the comment sections of this episode, at workersled@gmail.com, DMs on social media, any of those. Some of you are in Discords with us, just message us, whatever. But please let us know because that would be really fun. And we want to do it, but we only want to do it right. And we want to do it by offering things that you actually would like. So without further ado, let's get into our Hunger Games episode.
Just as the town's clock strikes 2, the mayor steps up to the podium and begins to read. It's the same story every year. He tells the history of Panem, the country that rose up out of the ashes of a place that was once called North America. He lists the disasters, the droughts, the storms, the fires, the encroaching seas that swallowed up so much of the land, the brutal war for what little sustenance remained. The result was Panem, a shining capital ringed by 13 districts which brought peace and prosperity to its citizens. Then came the dark days, the uprising of the districts against the capital. 12 were defeated, the 13th obliterated. The Treaty of Treason gave us the new laws to guarantee peace and, as our yearly reminder that the dark days must never be repeated, it gave us the Hunger Games. The rules of the Hunger Games are simple. In punishment for the uprising, each of the 12 districts must provide one girl, one boy, called tributes, to participate. The 24 tributes will be imprisoned in a vast outdoor arena that could hold anything from a burning desert to a frozen wasteland. Over a period of several weeks, the competitors must fight to the death. The last tribute standing wins. Taking the kids from our districts, forcing them to kill one another while we watch, this is the capital's way of reminding us how totally we are at their mercy.
I mean, if you're non-binary, you're doing great.
Oh, yes!
Panem
I
is
can't
woke.
believe we literally just solved the Hunger Games.
What you need or what does need? How are they eating in the socialist need? Everything I can need, oh I need, oh I need, oh I need, oh what does need? Oh what does need? Oh what does need? Oh what does need? Oh what does
Welcome back to Workers Lit. I hope y'all are hungry for some games. That's not anything. Thank y'all for being here. We're doing one that we have been requested for literally 2 years and we keep meaning to do. We haven't done it. Finally, we're doing Hunger Games. It's awesome. It's lit. We're so ready. Aisha, Lenore, what are y'all's history with the Hunger Games? Lenore, I think this is your first time reading the book.
Yeah, literally. Like, they started coming out, again, much like Percy Jackson, right? I would have been the perfect age because they started coming out when I was 15 or so, and it just completely flew right by me. I don't know what the fuck I was reading at the time.
You were too busy reading the Cross-Time Engineer.
Unfortunately, yeah. One of these days I'll finish that series, and I'll have...
Why?
I hate leaving things unfinished.
I think I read The Hunger Games the year that it came out. Because I think my cousin was really into it, and I thought it sounded cool. I think it came out in 2008, and that was the first year that I was in college, so I was reading it in my freshman year of college. Yeah, this is I think this is a really 2008 book. I think it's a 2008 book, but I think it also, I mean, like, it could have been written yesterday also. Like, we talk about books that could be written now. And yeah, it's almost 20 years old, which is crazy to think about. But I love this series. I mean, I specifically love this book. The next two books are fine. But I really love the first one, and especially after reading The Running Man,
Yeah.
I have a lot of appreciation for Suzanne Collins and like the fact that she thinks about things before she writes them down.
Unfortunately rare to do that. Yeah, I had read these back in middle school. I read these right showing myself as the youngest on the podcast here, but I read these right when the movie was coming out when I was in like 7th grade. And I remember loving it, really liking the books. I remember reading all 3 of them, being really frustrated by Mockingjay for reasons I don't quite fully remember. And then watching the movies as they came out, but never revisiting it. I assumed that these books were sort of tepid YA schlock just based on, okay, I read a lot of stuff like that when I was that age and liked a lot of stuff. We'll get into it, but this book has some shit to it. This has some substance to it.
Oh, yeah.
But before we go on with the life of Suzanne Collins, before we do any of that, I have arranged something that I would like to share with everyone, and we will be continuing to update throughout the episode. There is a website called brantsteel.com. Don't know what the deal is, but basically it's been around since I was in high school at least, and it's just got a bunch of random scenarios. You put a bunch of names in, and it simulates a Hunger Games. So I have simulated a Hunger Games for us. I have not looked at this yet. I've put in 24 names that you will all find to be relevant if you were Workers Lit fans. Yeah, and
Did you put Friends of the Pod in there?
There's a number. There's a mixture in there. We'll say.
Okay.
So let's see
Let's
what
go.
happens on day 1, and we will continue to update as this goes on. The tributes stand on their podium and the horn sounds. Lenore stays at the cornucopia for resources. Okay. Shiloh finds a bag full of explosives. All right.
Classic.
Jen strangles Lee Mandello to death after a fist fight. Damn. Okay. Sorry, Lee. You're
Oh,
dead.
that's so
Rip
sad.
to a master. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Lin-Manuel Miranda escapes. Katniss
It should have been Lynn.
Katniss snatches a bottle of alcohol and a rag. Katniss is here. I just figured she should be.
Okay, yeah, I
Molotov
think she should
Katniss.
be.
All right.
Fred Stoker stays at the cornucopia for resources. Hot Gollum runs away from the cornucopia. The cow from Cow Tools, I'm not kidding, grabs some tools from inside the cornucopia.
Does it say what kind of tools?
Cow tools.
I guess. They're
Just
cow
says
tools now.
tools. C.S. Lewis, Trevor Strunk, and A.J. Diddy get into a fight. Trevor Strunk triumphantly kills them both. So,
Oh,
all right.
shit.
Oh. God, I can't believe AJ went down in the same paragraph as C.S. Lewis. That's so dark.
Well, if you have initials in your name.
Yukio Mishima breaks Cash Patel's nose for a basket of bread.
Let's go!
Let's fucking go.
The Grink severely injures Jacob and leaves him to die.
Oh boy. That's so
Based on a true
sad.
story.
Aisha badly injures Robert from Gaywick for a basket of food.
Let's go. Unlimited genocide on Twinks.
The Polycule from The Secret History, which, by the way, I've entered as a single character, grabs his shield leaning on the cornucopia.
Okay, so they've like all got their hands on it, I assume?
Yes. Josh Borman gathers as much food as he can. Rue, I just left Rue here. She's just here. Takes a spear from inside the cornucopia. Seems like I had to leave another character.
Oh, wow,
Draco
that's
Malfoy
ironic.
escapes. And finally, Ben Shapiro scares Brian Alford away from the cornucopia.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
To rounding out day 1, Rue gets injured. Fred Stoker collects some fruit. The Grink kills Lenore with a trap.
Fuck!
The cow from Cow Tools steals from Trevor Strunk. Draco Malfoy attacks the Secret History Polycule, but they manage to escape. Lin-Manuel Miranda hides at a river. Robert Gaywick practices archery after escaping Aisha. Aisha sets off an explosive, killing Ben Shapiro, Cash Patel, Josh Borman, and Brian Alford.
Damn, okay.
Katniss makes a slingshot. Yukio Mishima camouflages himself in the bushes. Hot Gollum also practices with some weapons, ranged weapons. Jin constructs a shack, and Shiloh searches for a water source.
Is it
So
going to come down to it's going to be a Yukio Mishima, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Shiloh free for all?
well, there's
Yeah.
nine
Am I the
nine
only
deaths.
surviving one of the three of us?
Jen is still alive, but of the three of us,
Okay, all
yes.
right. All
But yeah,
right.
9
I
cannon
was
shots.
voted in college, in my college, I was in like a study abroad cohort, and we did superlatives, and I was voted most likely to win the Hunger Games.
Hell yeah. Well, we'll see. But 9 cannon shots day 1. We'll update after this. But on day 1, Lee Mandello, AJ Diddy, C.S. Lewis, Jacob Dallas, Lenore Olson, Ben Shapiro, Cash Patel, Josh Borman, and Brian Alford have fallen.
Well, it's up to you,
Damn,
Sheila.
that is a squad wipe on the worst of all possible worlds.
Yeah, and you killed 2 of them.
I know. God.
I did not. This is a randomizer, y'all. So anyway, keep listening for more updates. But for now, let's get an update on Suzanne Collins, the author of The Hunger Games. I believe Aisha has a bio on that.
So Suzanne Collins, not to be confused with Susan Collins. Let's get one thing straight. Was born on August 10th, 1962, in Hartford, Connecticut, into a military family, actually. Believe it or not, if you can believe it. Her father fought in both Korea and Vietnam, and her grandfather fought in both world wars. So you can tell that made her feel a certain kind of way, I think, about the military-industrial complex.
Yeah, she likes it a lot, right?
Yeah, she loves it. She thinks it's awesome. So she is a young adult author, but before that, she started as like a young adult television writer. She actually wrote for Clarissa Explains It All on Nickelodeon.
She also wrote a bunch of episodes of Little Bear, the animated TV show, which was a staple of my childhood, I have to say.
Yeah, and she wrote for the Mystery Files of Shelby Woo. She worked on the Clifford the Big Red Dog cartoon.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So she really, like, classic.
No, literally, I was watching because I just like found it on YouTube, an episode of Little Bear with my little niece, and it flashed across the screen, written by Suzanne Collins, and I was like, wait, no way. So that's how I know that. I was like, holy cow. It was really sad when Little Bear got turned into a werewolf and mauled his friends, but you know, so it goes.
So before the Hunger Games, she released a pretty, like, long, I think, middle grade series called Underland, which is kind of like a dark retelling of Alice in Wonderland. And I think she described it as, like, instead of falling down a rabbit hole, Alice, who I think is a boy in Underland, falls through a manhole cover. So it's like an urban Alice in Wonderland. Sounds kind of cool, actually.
Alice falls into my twisted mind, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Also, so the Hunger Games, she said she initially was basing on the myth of Theseus, like Theseus in the labyrinth with the Minotaur. So that was like her first. I think that was like her first visual, and I think that sort of like you can kind of feel the evolution from that. There's all like the Roman influence,
on the capital,
like the bread and circles. Bread and circuses. I guess like circle is, you know, this is the same word. Bread and circuses type implication of the Hunger Games.
Mm-hmm.
And so mostly I focused on this like one article I read, like actually a Polygon article from 2025 that I found really interesting, that I kind of want to quote from kind of heavily. So in this, she's like quoted saying that she originally wrote the Hunger Games to interrogate the just war theory. Like the idea of like when violence is permissible. She says, the just war theory has evolved over thousands of years, is an attempt to define what circumstances give you the moral right to wage war and what is acceptable behavior within the war and its aftermath, she explained in a 10th anniversary interview. In the Hunger Games trilogy, the districts rebel against their own government because of its corruption. The citizens of the districts have no basic human rights, are treated as slave labor, and are subjected to the Hunger Games annually. So, just to quote more from the article, because I think it's really good. Everybody should read it if you like the Hunger Games. Ever since the 2008 publication of Collins' series launcher, The Hunger Games, some of her readers have always ignored the messages about a ruling class using entertainment and propaganda to maintain an oppressive status quo. Instead, they built their fandom around the glamour and drama of the battle royale style fight to the death that gave the book its name and the drama of its fabricated love triangle, which Collins says she included to represent Katniss's choice between two different worldviews, not her choice between two different boys, which I think is really interesting. Because I do think the romance is the weakest part in the story, but I think that like that description of it makes sense because like Gale and Peeta do represent two very different like ideals in life.
Yes.
So she's expressed distaste for the she's been pretty positive about the movies in general, but she has expressed distaste for the marketing campaigns around the movies, which there were like a bunch of like social media posts from the point of view of like the stylists and influencers and Panem, and then they sold like different scents for different districts and like makeup palettes and stuff. So it was kind of just like, oh, you learned nothing.
Yeah,
like
they were just they would actually do in the
Hunger Games. Yeah.
Well, and like if we did the Hunger Games IRL, it would also be sponsored by Polymarket, I imagine.
Yeah. So she wrote
It
a
basically
prequel. She wrote a prequel in 2020, I think, called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And it's about the villain of the Hunger Games, who doesn't even speak in this game, President Snow. Spoiler alert. It's about him and how, like, he becomes a fascist. I actually haven't read it. I didn't even know it was a book. I thought it was just a TV show. So I'm interested to actually read the book. And she has a new prequel book coming out this year called Sunrise on the Reaping, in which it's about Haymitch winning the Hunger Games 25 years ago. And it is about, apparently, as has been reported, about propaganda, revisionist history, and the way that, like, regimes erase uprisings. So, like, Katniss tells us there has never been an uprising against the districts, but that's not true, apparently.
Right.
They've just erased the history.
Well,
so I'm actually... Yeah, so I think that sounds really cool. She sounds like she actually has read theory, which is cool. I remember in our last episode, like, I compared The Running Man a lot to this, and I think I really buy Katniss winning the Hunger Games more than I buy book Ben Richards winning The Running Man.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
Though I guess he doesn't win. He fucking kills himself.
The only way to win is not to play. But yeah, no.
The only way to win is to do 9/11.
Yeah, truly, that's so true.
Yeah, we will definitely be comparing this book to all the other Death Games literature that we've done. And like what you said, Aisha, about propaganda really, really stood out to me as well, because like this book does it in such a more interesting way than in The Running Man. Like, okay, Running Man, right, you've got a deep fake that's just playing up the idea of this guy as like a degenerate who's just like, you know, skipping out and like doing a real job. But here it's so much more interesting to me because there's parts of the Hunger Games that are broadcast and like edited creatively, right? But like they do allow certain moments of tenderness and of rebellion against this paradigm that forces you to kill, right? They do allow they do show Katniss giving Rue her like send off, her proper like, you know, not burial, but you know, commemorating her, because it's good television. You know, it's, you know, we mentioned Fallout being on Amazon Prime. You know, there are accepted limits of chafing at this whole system without any actual opportunity for building power against us.
Well, before we get into the plot, just a quick update on the games. Draco Malfoy is cooking some food. Lin-Manuel Miranda has found clean water received from an unknown sponsor. Jen has convinced Trevor Strunk to snuggle with her, so it's interesting. The secret history polycule is now receiving medical supplies from unknown sponsors. Shiloh is remaining hidden.
She's good at that.
Katniss and the cow from Cow Tools have begun a romance.
Damn, that's awesome.
What's that Prongler do, though?
That's my OTP.
Hot Gollum has was trying to force Fred Stoker to either kill Aisha or the Grink. He refuses to kill, so Hot Gollum kills Fred Stoker instead. Robert Gaywick has received fresh food from an unknown sponsor as well. Yukio Mishima finds a cave, and Rue loses sight of where she is and becomes incredibly lost. So, just a quick update on our contenders. People know what the Hunger Games is, though. There's a reason that I was able to just be like, whatever. It's a death game. There's two kids chosen from each of these districts that is dominated by this basically like fascist authoritarian government that and it's basically shown as a sign of submission, but also as the winners can be the ultimate bootstrap story. The winners get to be the ultimate, like, see, you can make it, see, you can transcend. So it kind of has the dual purpose. It is the carrot and the stick. It is. I was reminded, I was watching the State of the Union last night because I'm insane. And Donald Trump had like a guy who was in the Maduro raid, and he was like, this guy was poor his entire life. He was in the Maduro raid. He got shot a bunch of times, but now he's here and he's going to have a good life, and we're giving him a medal. And that's basically like what the Hunger Games is. Like, I mean, I was watching that. I was like, this is every bit as bleak as anything in this book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think that the whole opening, I think, is a really good framing. Like, Katniss, like, that framing, like, making it believable that the 16-year-old kind of, like, scrawny, starving girl could win this fight, this like, death game. Like, it frames up, like, how she's, every day she goes and hunts for food. She's, an archer. And like we learn about her mother and her sister who she really loves. And we see this sort of like social murder that is going on in this district that she comes from, which is in Appalachia, which is basically where I live. And I think the movie was filmed there too. So District 12 is Appalachia. I think also Katniss is slightly POC coded, I think. Like, she's described as having olive skin. Because her dad is from, like, the Seam, which is where, like, the lower class people are from. And her mother and her sister Prim have, like, blonde hair. So it sounds like she takes after her dad. So she does sound
it says
slightly
specifically
racialized.
that, like, blonde people are uncommon in the Seam, and it's more common to have, like, olive skin and darker hair. Her friend Gail also, they often get asked if they're related. And PETA, who will become a major character here, is also from that sort of merchant class and is also blonde.
Calling the boy who bakes bread PETA is like so elite.
It's fire.
That's so funny.
I
that is like a Lemony Snicket ass name.
Oh yeah. From the beginning, I was like, this book, I realized I don't think there's been any book that has ever been more influential on the style of writing of the kind of fan fiction I grew up reading. Because I was like, oh my God, every fanfic I was reading in 2012 was like trying to do this book. Like not the plot, the writing style. Like, if I can read like a quote describing PETA, for instance: medium height, stocky build, ashy blonde hair that falls in waves over his forehead. The shock of the moment is struggling in his face. You can see he struggled to remain emotionless, but his blue eyes show alarm I've seen so often in Prey. And I was like, oh my God, this is like what so many, like, the people on Tumblr that I was reading were going for. And
I would not call this sparkling prose. I would call this workhorse prose.
Yes.
Like, they're doing what they're supposed to do. I also think that Katniss is a very good example of a fairly unlikable person who is nonetheless a compelling protagonist. Like, she is a prickly, kind of like uncharismatic person, but you still empathize with her because they bother to like frame up her family, frame up like the fact that she also, I think it's interesting that she does feel a lot of intense hatred for the upper class, but she thinks that it's worthless. Like, she's like, Gail is always talking about, you know, rebellion, but I don't see the point. And I think that sort of like, that sort of indifference, I think, is a good way to prevent her from feeling misanthropic, the way that Ben Richards does in The Running Man.
Right. She doesn't want to have kids. She doesn't see a future beyond like the next day's food, right? And it's bleak, certainly her conditions, but like it's not gratuitous, right? She has figured out how to live with this, how to bring in just a little bit more than bare subsistence by hunting in the woods around where she lives. And it tells you a little bit about how the society is run too, because like technically what she and Gale are doing is illegal, but
Yeah, they're
because
poachers.
but because they sell meat to like all the city officials, some of the cops around, like they can get these people to look the other way.
You also
Right.
get the idea that
Mhm.
they're kind of so much at the provinces that there's just not that much control. There's just like,
Mhm.
not that they're not under control, not that they couldn't be cracked down on, but like this is an area where power isn't even on all the time. They're just not as
Right.
worried. Shit
Actually,
flies under the radar.
what it really made me think of was Ferrex in Andor, which
Mm.
is like this very like, I don't know if you guys have seen Andor,
Oh, yeah.
but like the place that Andor takes place in, which
Mhm.
is like this like far out rim like planet where the city officials are technically part of the Empire, but they kind of don't fuck with the Empire.
Mhm.
And as long as you don't, murder anybody in front of them, it's fine. And I think that this is a very realistic portrayal of colonialism, because
Yeah.
basically the districts are colonized. Like, even though they're technically part of America or were part of America, they are colonies.
Mhm.
Like, the capital has colonized these places.
Yeah, they're colonized and divided up based on the thing they produce. Like this area
Right.
produces coal. The 11th district is highly agricultural. They've been reduced basically to not just mono crops, but like mono production in a way that they couldn't.
Yeah.
They're not able to be self-sufficient even really like on a large scale because they become like sort of spokes in a wheel.
Mhm.
Also, I remember in 2012 Tumblr, there would be a lot of like discourse about how unrealistic the world building is in the Hunger Games, and one of the things is like, okay, who cares? Like,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
world building is compelling. Some of the sci-fi bullshit in the games I think is silly, and it feels like an editor was like, don't forget this is a sci-fi story, put some sci-fi shit in there, put some like mutated wolves in there or something. But I do think that like this portrayal of like a totalitarian, fascist, very regimented society is realistic. I do think that this is how fascists think.
Yeah, and I think
Like
it's like
everybody
people are like,
everybody
oh,
has
that's
their
stupid.
place.
Yeah, I remember people being
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's a stupid setup. And it's like, yeah, fascism
Yeah.
is stupid.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. Yeah.
And I think you're right. And Katniss says we understand why Katniss is unlikable because she lives in these conditions. She really only likes two people. She likes Gale,
Mhm.
which is her not boyfriend, but like she's like, I'm not into him, but of course, she is, and he's into her.
Yeah, he's clearly into her.
Mhm.
And I actually like the portrayal of Katniss really have never having had romantic or sexual feelings.
Yeah.
Partly just because she's fucking starving to
She's
death.
too locked
Mhm,
in.
mhm.
Yeah, like she's
Yeah.
too locked in on the work she has to do. She's
Right.
not eating. And she loves her sister, her little sister, Primrose Everdeen. Her mom, like she cares about her mom, but her mom went like complete depression mode after her dad died. So she's like, the mom's kind of a burden. Like, does she love her? Like, yeah, I guess, but she doesn't really.
Right. She
Those are the two
became
people she
like
really likes.
Mhm.
she experienced parentification, as they said.
Yes.
She had to like basically become her mother's spouse in a way, like the way that like
Mhm.
her mother basically treats her as like the breadwinner of the family.
And her dad
And
died
she
in a
takes
coal
care of
blast.
yeah, her dad died in a mining accident. So it starts with like the reaping, which is where they come, like the people from the capital come and pick one girl, one boy out of like a bowl with all the kids' names, and it's only kids specifically.
Like
Mhm.
12
Um,
to 18 or 12 to 17, something like that.
And then problematic queen Effie Trinket, who is comes, who's just like this silly, who's like petite bourgeois, like
Pink
sort of
hair.
social climber kind of. You get the idea that she is like every district has like a representative from the capital who like comes and does the reaping there, and she's got like the worst district.
Mhm.
So she you get the idea that like she's like basically like working in the mailroom of fascism.
Yeah, yeah. Like I mean, a very cushy mailroom, like on balance, because the Hunger Games is only like once a year, but like nonetheless, she's she's still at the bottom of this whole thing. This is what really stood out to me in this first chapter here, right? Because at the same time you meet Effie, you also meet Haymitch, who is the last guy from District 12. I think the only other guy from District 12 to ever win the games. And what it's done to him is he lives with being the last survivor, probably killed a few people, and has basically spent the last 20 or so years just drinking himself into a stupor every day.
Because the only responsibility he has is once a year he's supposed to quote unquote mentor 2 kids, which means they get 3 days to prepare them. And then the kids die every single year. So not only did he do the Hunger Games and, presumably kill all this other stuff in it, he's not like he can then go and like, go meditate on a mountain. Like, yeah, he can whatever, but every year he has to then become part of the Hunger Games. He has to perpetuate the cycle.
And you get the idea that he has emotionally distanced himself from the tributes because District 12 has like no chance usually. So he just, doesn't want to get to know these kids who are just going to die. So they go to the reaping. The older you get, the more your name goes in. And you can also do something I think is called tesserae, which is where in exchange for getting grain and oil every month, you can put your name in an extra time.
It's very it's very like enlisting in the military type or like National Guard type energy.
So her name is in there like 20 times. And Gale's is in there like 40 times. So like the likelihood of them being picked is like super high. But instead, her little sister, Prim, who is only in there once, is chosen. And in response, Katniss volunteers because you can, and that's creating the famous meme, I volunteer.
Yep.
Yeah, I volunteer as tribute, which is, if you've ever seen anyone who's moderately attractive on social media posts like, wow, really lonely, their whole replies, especially for like 10 years following that movie coming out, where I volunteer as tribute. It's a classic.
I was looking, actually, I didn't watch the movie. I have seen the movie, but I do still want to watch it. I didn't have time to watch it before the episode, but man, Jennifer Hale, is that her name? She looks so
Lawrence.
young. Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Hale, she's a voice actress. She's Commander Shepard. Jennifer Lawrence she looks so young in The Hunger Games. I guess that was a long time ago. It was like 15 years ago.
Yeah, like 2012, I think is when it came out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so basically you have the setup, and then the other guy who gets chosen is Peeta Mellark.
Who Katniss has never spoken to, but he is very significant in her life because right after her dad died and her family was starving to death, Peeta purposefully burned some loaves of bread so he could give them to her. Because he's not middle class, but like merchant class. So he's doing better than her. So
it's actually interesting how she's like assumed to, she has lived her whole life assuming these merchants are like doing crazy well, it seems like. And they are compared to her, but it is interesting as she gets to know Peeta. It's like, oh yeah, no, we pretty much only ate like the fucked up and old bread and stuff like that. And like, like every single person in the world that she thinks is doing really well, with like the exception of like the upper crust, like she's like, oh, the people from the food district, they must be eating all the time. No, actually not. Things like that. Yeah. It is interesting the way that the Capitol has set up these sort of divides among the oppressed classes of people. And obviously Peeta does come from a higher class strata than her, but that is relevant. But she also has felt her whole life like she owes this guy. And like, she does, but like, it also like pisses her off because that's the type of person she is. She's like, fuck, well, this stupid blonde bitch like threw some shit at me, and now I gotta feel bad about it. I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah.
And Peeta is I remember like when I remembered Peeta, like thinking back on it, I just remember him being kind of like a dumb, like silly hot guy. In hindsight, no, Peeta is like a conniving little guy. Like he is.
Yeah.
Peeta has plans.
Yeah, he can say, "Oh, I have no plans to win." Whatever. This man wants to win. This man wants to get back to his bread.
This man wants to win the Hunger Games, and he wants pussy.
so
Like-
bad, and he will stop at nothing to get it. He will
Yeah.
disguise himself so well to get some pussy.
Yeah,
And
he
it's
will almost die of an infection to get pussy.
and you will hear about the infection in detail.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, and like from the beginning, right? He knows that okay, like he's smart enough, he's strong enough to do pretty well, but he is always prepared for the possibility that circumstance will prevent him from coming out on top, right? Like when right before he goes off to the Hunger Games, what does he say?
Or otherwise, yes.
Yep. Well, because his mother doesn't see like a winner in him, right? She says, "Oh well, District 12's finally going to have a winner," and she's talking about Katniss, right?
Right.
It's so vicious.
And
Because
so
Katniss is so hard.
and so what he's forced to grow up with and sort of exist within is, okay, well, how can I become indispensable? How can I finagle things so that like I'm on the precipice I'm within striking distance of this throne that's forever going to be denied me.
I love that Katniss in her mind is like, no one ever thinks about me. And then in District 12, everybody's like, there's that like girl who like turned herself into an operator that like walks around like angrily like
They're like, yeah, there's this fucking Pisces sun who is like everybody like what is it like, sorry to do zodiac quarter. What other thing about Pisces is like everybody thinks they're so mysterious, but they're just thinking about what they're going to have for lunch. Which is like, that's literally what Katniss is.
Mm-hmm. And that's
everyone's like, here's this scary lady, yeah.
And there's a reason for it, right? I mean, the trope that you think of when you're talking about like YA like dystopia stuff, like the first thing you think of, which is not entirely fair, is oh, it's going to be like a perfectly ordinary hottest girl in the world who thinks she's like, you know, nothing special, and two guys are lusting over her, and it's like, no, there's a reason that she views Gale as a hunting partner primarily. There's a reason that she doesn't really think much of Peeta at all. It's because she necessarily has a very utilitarian relationship to other people. She doesn't have time for romance. Yeah.
She's the breadwinner of her family. Like, she is the father of her, basically, of her sister.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, she's not into Gale because Gale is a Marxist-Leninist Maoist, and she is a doom pill she is a black pill doomer. And of course, Peeta is simply a social democrat, so she can't get down.
So, I also think that Katniss is just like, I love the fact that Katniss is just an uncharismatic person. Like, even when she does start talking, everything she says is pretty dumb. Like, she's not stupid. She just doesn't express herself very well. She's, like, quite quiet. I actually really like, and I'd like forgotten about this, but I remember appreciating it when I read it. Is especially because, like, of all, like, the Hunger Games copies that came after the Hunger Games, I think it's very striking that, like, it is so dedicated to Katniss's point of view that we, like, never really learned that much about the other tributes. Like, we don't even know their names because Katniss doesn't care about them. Like, she is not interested in them. She's interested in a couple of them and they become relevant to her, but, like, there isn't any, like, sort of, like, social engineering that happens because that's just not in Katniss's wheelhouse. We get the idea that Peeta is doing that. But we're so like locked into Katniss's POV, which I think is very deftly done because it really situates you in her body. So her and Peeta get brought to the Capitol on a train and I really like the scene where Haymitch starts poking at her to get her to snap, and she like throws a knife at him, and he's like, okay, so do I actually have some fucking fighters this year? Maybe I can train you.
Yeah, Haymitch just over here drunk all the time. Pretty. He's a fun duo. Him and Effie together make this fun. Like they've got some, like, it's interesting. They've got like a couple little skills to them, but mostly are kind of fuck ups until Haymitch actually locks in. But they have to kind of earn his attention. But they get to the Capitol, and it is this place that is just pure. I mean, like, it's, you know, it's
Megaopolis.
It's Megaopolis. Yes, it's, you know, Diocletian's palace where there's specific servants there to help you throw up so you can eat more food. It's people have blue hair and pronouns everywhere. Never seen such business.
Yeah.
It is.
It does. It is also interesting that Suzanne Collins has, like, you can tell that she is not a conservative, but she's also not a liberal, because she kind of does poke at liberal decadence
Yeah.
Mhm.
with Panem, which I think is really interesting. I think that's a thing people got mad about her, because they're like, oh, this is like a conservative belief. It's like, no, because I don't think Suzanne Collins is a liberal. I think she's a leftist.
Yeah, no,
because
there's tons of moments throughout the book where like they're putting on a show, like the tributes are in their interviews, in the Hunger Games themselves, because they know that okay, like part of being in this society, part of being in the capital, right, is applauding at the right time, sighing at the right time, wistfully. You know, there is a performance that everybody is engaged in that that you can game by virtue of knowing that you're a performer.
there is a big like the way these supposedly sympathetic capital citizens, these like
Mhm.
probably liberalish capital citizens interact with her that are like, we feel so bad for you that you came from that place and you
Mhm.
are of those people. Oh, you're actually pretty now that we got you out of that place and shaved you of the hair. And that was for me something that felt so well realized of like interacting with people from like the or western United States,
Right.
like being someone who's lived in the South my whole life, of being like, oh, you're from there, as if it's
Mhm.
Right.
like as if there are not like massive conditions that make there, and also as if there is no there's nothing good there, and all beauty and whatever exists in this place, the capital. Whereas it's like obviously the capital is inflicting this shit on everybody else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I really like Katniss's take on her prep team. Like the like those three like just goofy people who are just like, you know, fluttering around her and doing her hair and stuff like that. And her take is that she is like, these people are not evil. They just are like, she like thinks of them, they're like pets.
Yeah, she
Like
said
she's
they're
like, these people
entertaining,
are like
entertaining
animals. They
pets.
don't know anything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think it's a both a very mean and very kind take and very mature take from Katniss, because she's
Yeah.
I think that she is a person who tries to see not the best in people, but she tries to see the utility of people.
Mhm.
Mhm.
In almost a self-serving way. She's like, what can these people do for me? But I think, I mean, like, that's obviously a learned trait. But I really like that Katniss is somebody who there is just like there is not like a cruel bone in her body.
Yeah.
Right, right. She sees the utility and she sees their conditions as well. Like, even in the
Mhm.
midst of the games, right, she reserves her hottest hatred for the Capitol, for setting this
Mhm.
up, for putting these people in the ring and forcing them to kill each other.
And
Right.
this is where we get introduced to, is it Kenna or Senna? I said
I think
Senna.
it's Cinna. I think it's Cinna. And
Mhm.
Cinna becomes more relevant in the next book. But Cinna, I think, is a really interesting character.
You could tell he's the
Yeah.
goat though when he walks in. It's like he
Mhm.
hasn't
Played
done
by
any body.
Played by Lenny Kravitz in the
Oh,
movie.
yeah. And
Mhm.
when they say he's got no body mods except like nothing flashy except gold eyeliner, I was like, oh hell yeah, this
Yeah.
guy's cool. Um,
Oh, there's a homosexual.
yeah, we've got a cool gay guy. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And he is like this guy who's like, he requested to work with District 12 because he wants to bring out what's cool about it. He's like, what is coal? Normally, we put y'all in fucking coal miner outfits and it's a joke, but coal brings fire. And we get the image of the girl on fire. He literally wreaths her in flame, which is so sick. And I remember reading it as a
Mhm.
kid and specifically being like, this is awesome.
Mhm.
And you can imagine like the spectacle, it's playing into the spectacle, but it's also a bit of it's in this book you see how it's laying the groundwork for what will be a future resistance movement in later
Yes.
books.
Right.
In this book, it right now is part of the spectacle, but it is a resistant part of the spectacle. And to me, I really was thinking about like, okay, art that exists in the system that criticizes the
Right.
system. And then you have two opportunities. Cinna could go the direction of just continuing to do subversive things within the box, or you could do subversive things outside the box, which is of course what the trilogy is getting at. But it's interesting,
Right.
like this art as like the basis of the resistance and of the character Katniss will become relevant to a sort of revolutionary movement outside the bounds of the Hunger Games.
Mhm.
I also think it's really interesting that like Katniss gets caught up in it too. Like when all the people are cheering for her, she
Yeah.
starts like getting excited and waving and smiling and holding Peeta's hand. And she's like, wow, like this is awesome. Like I look amazing, which I
Mhm.
think is like because Katniss is 16 also.
Yeah.
Like, she's a baby who is, like, never had anything, like, never had any attention from anybody really before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's, and she's also, like, never been pretty, probably, just because she's always just dirty, and starving to death.
Yeah, like,
so,
she doesn't really pay attention, like, to like, you know, being conventionally attractive. Like, they wax her legs when when she goes in, you know, they give her a makeover and everything.
Yeah, they're like, you're so hairy. Yeah, and then we get to see Peeta and Haymitch's plan, which is Peeta tells everybody in the interview they do that he's in love with Katniss. And this is, like, the plan to get people on their side. Where, well, Peeta really is in love with Katniss, but Katniss is like, oh, okay, this is a plan to, like, give us a storyline, basically, like kayfabe.
Though before she realizes that she does throw my man on the ground.
Yeah, she, like, cuts his hands up because she's so mad that
I
he's
love
like...
Haymitch having a little bit of a gay moment and being like, he made you desirable for the first time in your life, sweetie. I love
Yeah. Haymitch does kind of have gay vibes to me,
Yeah,
I think.
no, old gay
Gay-mitch.
alcoholic. For gay Mitch, yes, exactly. That's definitely a Tumblr tag. I looked it up. Gay Mitch is, in fact, a thing.
Hell yeah, brother.
There's a page on Tumblr called Gay Mitch Abernath Dyke, which that's not anything.
Pickle Lane.
That fucking rules. I love Tumblr. I miss Tumblr. Bring back Tumblr.
Gay Mitch Abernath. Is Haymitch
not
like
anything.
a trans lesbian? Like,
Yeah,
know.
is he a he/him lesbian? Because I'm here for it. Okay, so in the Capitol, Katniss notices that there's, like, some servants around who are, like, don't say anything, and they are people called Avox, which is, like, no voice. That's what that means in Latin. And they're basically people who have committed crimes and therefore been basically made into slaves whose tongues have been cut out. And Katniss recognizes one of them because she remembers seeing her running away in the Capitol, in the woods. So I think she was, like, a runaway from the Capitol who was caught in District 12, and Katniss feels guilty because she didn't do anything to, like, help her.
And there's a really effective scene where it says she wants to apologize to her, but she can't because they might be being watched. But she says, "I'm ashamed I never tried to help her in the woods. I want to apologize that I let the Capitol kill the boy with her and mutilate her without lifting a finger, just like I was watching the games." She climbs under her covers and then says, "The shivering hasn't stopped. Perhaps the girl doesn't even remember me, but I know she does. You don't forget the face of the person who was your last hope." I pull the covers up over my head as if this will protect me from the redheaded girl who can't speak, but I can feel her eyes staring at me, piercing through walls and doors and bedding. I wonder if she'll enjoy watching me die. Which, of course, the girl doesn't hope she dies. The girl is fully understanding of her position in the world and that they're the same. You know, after the games, the girl will be there. But Katniss, I feel like Katniss engages morally with the world through guilt. Like, that's her primary thing. She wants to take care of her family. Yes, she loves her sister, but, like, mostly it's like, I will feel horrible if my sister starves to death. In the games, I have to win because my sister is watching me suffer right now. All these different things. Like, she is worried about other people, like, in an empathetic way, sure, but mostly in a I am bad if I don't do this type of way, which is a very real, like, eldest child who was thrust into a horrible position type of person. But it's very interesting that even her, like, political feelings are very guilt driven, very like, other people have to live this way. I can't have kids because a kid would have to go into the Hunger Games. It is very, very guilty. But, like, sometimes guilt drives people to do cool shit, as we will come to see.
Right. I think also, just before we get into the games, Peeta and her have a talk, and he says something like, I don't have the quote in front of me, but something like, if I have to die, I want to die as myself. And I want the Capitol to know that they, like, haven't, you know, they haven't changed me.
Yeah.
And Katniss doesn't really understand what he means. She's like, what the fuck do you mean? You'll just be dead. Like, who cares? I don't want to die. I want to get back to my family. And she will understand what he means later. And that's basically, she gets radicalized during the games, basically. But yeah, they enter the games. The games are
Before we enter the games, let's check in on our games. Really
Aha.
quick.
Oh, yeah. We
Before we
got
enter
it.
the games, we're about to enter the Hunger Games, but let's check in on our games. Day 2 has started. Yukio Mishima is on the run, Jin in pursuit, just so you know.
Let's go.
Get him. Get his ass.
The cow from Cow Tools are pursuing Katniss. Aisha
damn.
tries and fails to spear fish because she is very hungry. The Grink has found a hatchet. Cool.
The Grink has found a hatchet. Alert.
Fuck. Draco Malfoy catches a fish, so unfortunately Draco
Damn,
Malfoy.
I'm gonna get that bitch's fish.
He's a very capable Draco Malfoy.
Rue spies on Hot Gollum and Robert Gaywick, who are talking to each other, possibly forming an alliance.
Yeah, I ship it.
Trevor Strunk and Shiloh have made an alliance and begin hunting for other tributes.
Good
Let's
good call,
go.
Trevor.
The secret history polycule fights with Lin-Manuel Miranda, but he escapes.
God.
The day ends with just Fred Stoker having died. And the night, just in that night, the cow from Call Tools finds some food. Jin, Shiloh, and Katniss have a brief moment where they discuss the games and what might happen in the morning before going their separate ways. Draco Malfoy, Robert Gaywick, Hot Gollum, and Rue are all sleeping. Lin-Manuel Miranda, Trevor Strunk, Yukio Mishima, and the secret history polycule have a moment where they encounter each other in the woods, tell each other ghost stories to lighten the mood. And the Grink convinces Aisha to snuggle with her.
Oh, it's a lady Grink.
Yes, it says her. I think.
Damn. Okay. All right. Hell yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
we're not sure where that plot might go, but anyway,
I love that
week 3 will
I love
begin.
that snuggling is a big element of this.
Yeah, snuggling has recurred twice now.
Well, because they
I
can
don't-
turn the heat up and down. You have to ration your body heat.
Yeah,
exactly
that's
right.
true.
The Grink is aware. I mean, the Grink would probably be good to snuggle with all the fur. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
also-
true. I love our queen lesbian Grink.
I also
Yeah.
can't help but notice that like the romance between Katniss and the Cow Tools cow has broken down in the course of a day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anything can happen in the Hunger Games.
Mhm.
Anyway, what's happening in the much less important Hunger Games that
Yeah.
Katniss Everdeen is taking place in, folks?
Right. So yeah, the games start at something called the cornucopia, which is like a big cornucopia that is full of like stuff.
It's a trap.
Another like Roman reference.
Mhm.
The movie's kind of a coward with this. They make it like a cool futuristic silver thing. In the book, it's like it is a gold cornucopia on a Thanksgiving table, and I
Yeah,
love
that shit is really that shit rocks. I feel like that they should have gone for how tacky Panem sounds like instead of making it cool in the movie.
Yeah,
yes.
movie Capital would have that shitty Cracker Barrel logo on their Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Uncle
So,
Ruckus, or Uncle what's his name? Not Uncle Ruckus. Uncle whatever his name. Uncle.
Yeah, let's
Cracker.
say Uncle Ruckus.
It's not though.
Yeah.
It's
It is. Let's say it's Uncle Ruckus.
Wait, I gotta look up. The Cracker Barrel guy's name is Uncle Herschel. Sorry,
Okay. I like Uncle Ruckus better.
I do too.
So Haymitch has said specifically that PETA and Katniss should not go for the cornucopia because they're not like big and strong enough to fight some of the people. Because people from like districts 1 and 2 and 3 have like trained for the Hunger Games because they're very well fed. And the lower you get in number, the more wealthy the district is. So these people are like better fed, they're bigger, they didn't grow up starving.
Mhm.
So they're like, you can't compete with that. Although, so Katniss kind of doesn't listen. She runs and grabs something, which turns out to be a good idea because it turns out to be like, have like a sleeping bag in it or something.
Mhm.
Yeah. She
So-
didn't run all the way to the middle and grab the bow. That
Right.
she probably would have gotten killed over that.
Yeah.
Penny doesn't
She
listen
doesn't grab a
either.
bow. She
That
grabs
is-
a backpack.
That is something that
Yeah.
confused me at first because like I kept conflating like District 1 and the capital, but like it's 1, 2, 3, like I think that's the first 4 districts that have like the career tributes they call them.
Yeah,
like,
the careers, yeah.
They're doing fine, but like they are still you know, they're the aristocracy of that lower class that lives in the
I looked
Right.
it up, and they're like the tech, like District 1 is like tech and like the Silicon Valley district.
Okay.
But the capital seems not to produce anything. They seem to just
No, they're
fucking
just
live
consumers.
there. So the District 1,
The
2, and
capital is
3
America.
Yes.
The capital is America.
Mhm.
The first like 4 districts are like Europe, and then the rest of the districts are like the global south, basically.
Exactly.
So basically, like, Katniss just, you know, finds water after a while, almost dies of thirst because she can't find water, and she's like, why hasn't... So there's also a thing where like they can get people to sponsor them and send them gifts in like little parachutes, which is very cute, actually. And she's like, why hasn't Haymitch sent me any water? Oh, he must know that I'm about to find it. So like she kind of like understands that her and Haymitch like kind of think similarly, and she can kind of predict what he's thinking. So she finds water and basically just like starts hunting and starts, you know, being because this is basically just what Katniss has been doing her whole life, hiding in the woods and like shooting rabbits and shit.
Right.
And we don't really have to go through everything that happens in the woods, but I think that we should frame up Rue, and we should frame up like Peeta's big adventure.
Before even that, we get here really what Suzanne Collins loves to do, which is like to write this like very effective, like technical traversal dialogue, and like the technical, like, I hunted a thing, my leg was hurting. There was like, she loves like that shit, that very like survivalist Boy Scout stuff. She loves that stuff. She
like,
loves,
you know, she read The
like, how to
Hatchet
hike.
in elementary school.
Oh yeah. She loves a hike.
Loves a hike. There's a bit here where Katniss gets caught in, because of course the game makers, the people who are running this whole like arena, have basically deific control over the terrain, the weather, and everything, right? So she's escaping from this engineered firestorm here. I'll just read a little bit from here. My muscles react, only not fast enough this time. The fireball crashes into the ground at my side, but not before it skids across my right calf. Seeing my pants leg on fire sends me over the edge. I twist and scuttle backward on my hands and feet, shrieking, trying to remove myself from the horror. When I finally regain enough sense, I roll the leg back and forth on the ground, which stifles the worst of it. But then, without thinking, I rip away the remaining fabric with my bare hands. I sit on the ground a few yards from the blaze set off by the fireball. My calf is screaming, my hands covered in red welts. I'm shaking too hard to move. If the game makers want to finish me off, now is the time. And this is on the heel of, like, she's been, like, crippled from smoke inhalation, right? She's retching, vomiting, like, her hair is singed. Like, this is as... I have in my notes, like, this is as visceral, but I think this is more visceral than most of the shit that you see in, like, Battle Royale. Right, as gory as that book is, it's much more personal, in no small part because of the perspective, of course, but also like there's a little bit more, and we talked about it way back, but like there's a little bit more of a deliberate spectacle about Battle Royale as opposed to here, right? There's a little bit more agency that that people are given for the sake of encouraging, like engaging with the system, right? Theory crafting. Here, the best that you can do is to play to the crowd, right? It's much more arbitrary.
The crowd you can't see, yeah.
Yes, exactly, exactly. You are much more of a tool.
I do really like how everything Katniss does, she is thinking about an audience. Like, she is thinking about people watching her. She is thinking about performing. She's like, oh, I gotta make a post. I have to go post. And so she'll, like, you know, be like, oh, I should smile here so people know that I'm not bothered or something like that. So, because she knows there's cameras on her.
Imagine Katniss doing like the Jim from The Office face every time like a fireball goes past her.
So eventually she gets like chased up a tree by the careers, and she discovers that like Peeta has joined up with them, and she's like, oh, everyone betray me, I'm fed up with this world, kind of.
About to drop wasp on your ass, a wasp that really hurts.
Right, so there's like mutated wasps up there, and a little girl from District 11, Rue, who's like Prim's age, so she like reminds her of her sister, points out the wasp nest to her. So like another competitor saves Katniss, basically, and Katniss drops a wasp's nest on the careers and kills a couple of them.
Yeah, it kills a couple and it fucks up the rest because it's like a wasp nest a wasp that makes you
You
trip,
trip balls.
basically.
Yeah.
And again, it's a very like visceral scene of like I felt like ants were crawling in my eyes. I was there was yellow.
Yeah, because she gets
bubbles
stung a
drowning me.
bunch too.
And it's
Yeah.
very Suzanne Collins really enjoys writing this like these body experiences, like having these physical interactions with the world in a way. She's not writing long battle scenes, you know. She's not writing like I dodged to the side and our swords clanged she's not doing that. She's doing like the battles are very brief and it is very long periods of physical striving against the environment and dealing with the pain, the exposure,
Yeah.
all of that. It's very interesting. It's not how most YA novels read.
Right. It's very focused on, I think, like the reality of warfare, which is like mostly just sitting around.
Yeah, boring
and
as hell.
being bored, kind of. Like
it's to her
just
credit
her
that it's
sitting
not
all
boring.
day.
It is really to
No,
her
it's
credit
not
that this is
boring.
not boring. Because most of this, if you just describe it, just like she did this and then this, it's like that sounds incredibly boring. She manages to make it
Girl
engaging.
walks through woods.
Right. But you're so in Katniss's body, right? That you're you know, and Katniss is, like you said, so actively thinking about how she's engaging with the world and with the invisible crowd and wondering where people are, that it makes it entertaining and also makes you kind of think, okay, well, what would I do here? Which is kind of an important part of YA fiction. YA fiction is so often about not self-insert, but like, you know, activating the imagination of its audience with the kind of the world.
It's also a very curated conflict as well, right? Because again, I mentioned the environmental hazards that the game makers can whip up on a moment's notice, right? It incentivizes this conflict, A. B, it's also good TV. It's good TV watching Katniss escape from the fire and whatnot. But also, like, in terms of the actual like person-on-person conflict, it is mentioned that like there have been people who have like snapped or who were just like more savage than the rest and like really, really enjoyed it. Like there's one guy, there's
like
one
8 people
who yeah. So there's like an informal rule about no cannibalism, or like the game makers will just like contrive to have you taken out of this because you have
you're
to
scaring the hose.
Yeah, you have to present this to the Capitol in such a way that the worst of what this can do to you, the worst of how this can degrade your humanity, is they're insulated from it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So she teams up with Rue, this little girl, and they do basically like a plan to blow up the career's food source because, as she says, these people don't know how to be hungry.
Love this.
So she basically destroys the career's food source and like by exploding the munitions they have surrounding them, and doing so, her left eardrum is like exploded, so she loses half of her hearing, which is like a big deal for her.
This was a shock to me because that doesn't last. Like they're able to once the, I mean, spoiler alert, she wins the games, but once it's all said and done, like they're able to restore her hearing and she's more or less like in working order. That surprised me. I expected this,
but I mean, it's
tech,
like magical sci-fi surgery. Like,
oh, I'm not saying it's
reconstructive eardrum surgery is a real thing too.
It is, yeah.
You know.
I'm not saying it's unbelievable at all. It's just it surprises me that it's not like that. There's not like a lasting sort of physical marker that she has to deal with.
Well, I think
we actually can talk. We can talk about that when we get there because that is like one of the most haunting elements of it for me. Like when they describe what happens to her at the end, it like literally I think made me feel sick.
Me too, but for like in a different way.
Something else that'll make you feel sick is Rue fucking dies. And you know, it's no shocker, not even to Katniss, right? Because Katniss is like, yeah, well, one of us is gonna die at least, if not both of us.
And she's a little bit relieved that she doesn't have to be the one to kill Rue.
Oh yeah, because like at multiple points he mentioned, Aisha, that Rue reminds her of her sister. Like at multiple points, like the first person narration is like Prim, I mean Rue. Like she corrects herself in perceiving this person.
Right, because Rue is even a kind of flower, and Prim is like short for primrose. Like they even have like similar names.
And she has this moment where while Rue dies, she sings a song to her. And Katniss is not a good singer. She's not a person who's known to sing, but she sits with her and sings. And then after she's dead, it says, I can't stop looking at Rue, smaller than ever, a baby animal curled up in a nest of netting. I can't bring myself to leave her like this. Past harm, but seeming utterly defenseless. To hate the boy from District 1, that's the one who killed Rue, who also appears so vulnerable in death, seems inadequate. It's the capital I hate for doing this to all of us. Gale's voices in my head, his ravings against the capital, no longer pointless, no longer to be ignored. Rue's death has forced me to confront my own fury against the cruelty, the injustice they inflict upon us. But here, even more strongly than at home, I feel my impotence. There's no way to take revenge on the capital. Is there? Then I remember Peta's words on the roof. Quote, only I keep wishing I could think of a way to show the capital they don't own me, that I'm more than just a piece in their games, end quote. And for the first time, I understand what he means. I want to do something right here, right now, to shame them, to make them accountable, to show the capital that whatever they do or force us to do, there is a part of every tribute they can't own. That Rue was more than a piece in their games, and so am I. A few steps into the wood grows a bank of wildflowers. Perhaps they are really weeds of some sort, but they have blossoms in beautiful shades of violet and yellow and white. I gather up an armful and come back to Rue's side. Slowly, one stem at a time, I decorate her body in the flowers, covering the ugly wound, wreathing her face, weaving her hair with bright colors. They'll have to show it, or even if they choose to turn the cameras elsewhere in this moment, they'll have to bring them back when they collect the bodies, and everyone will see her then and know I did it. I step back and take a last look at Rue. She could really be asleep in that meadow after all.
Fuck.
And then she gets a delivery of bread from District 11. So the people of District 11 are thanking her. And it's like you start seeing like solidarity.
Yes. Because that's
in the film, obviously not in the book because it's a first person perspective. In the film, they even have a moment where a number of people in District 11 have like it's an impotent riot, but like there is a riot in District 11 after this moment.
I
right,
love that
and
part of the film.
There's also a signal from I think District 12. What is it? Like three fingers on the mouth, and then you put like this. That is from, I think, the rebellion. That they all do that in the beginning to Katniss when she volunteers.
Yeah, it's like a good
and that'll come back. But yeah.
There's that.
And
there's
Rue
like
gives her a little like music.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be their signal to each other. It's the in the movie
the Mockingjay.
Yeah, in the movie
she has her Mockingjay.
Yeah,
she has her Mockingjay pin too. That lesbian gave her.
Yeah,
that girl who seemed to like have a crush on her. The mayor's daughter or whatever gave her like a Mockingjay pin.
I was just gonna say really quick the birds, which are mockingjays, which is like a special type of mutated bird, can perfectly replicate human song, the beats of it. So they carry on Rue's song, or her whistle, which is in the movie that do 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 basically, which will kind of become linked up with the holding up the three fingers.
Rue is kind of interesting to me in a meta way too, because Rue is actually one of the earliest like racist casting dramas I remember from fandom. So Rue is black. Like she is described as being black in the book. Like they never say they never say she's black. Because that's not a word that Katniss would use, but she describes her skin as being dark. And they cast a black girl to play her in the movie, and people were so fucking racist about it. It was crazy how mad people were that this little black girl is playing this little kid. I've never seen anything like it. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it since. It was really wild. Like, 2012 was bad.
When did Star Wars 7 come out? Was it around that time as well?
No,
I think it was a little later. Yeah. Yeah, that was also really bad. But I think it like was doubly bad because people had like mental images of Rue that were not black because they don't fucking read words. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, and it is this symbol of this girl is a symbol of like purity, right? Is a symbol of and in their minds, she's got to be this like nice little angelic porcelain doll of a
White girl,
girl,
yeah.
which is not at all what she is. She is a girl that until now worked in the fields of District 11, had a brutal life, was part of this exploited underclass, which is what the book is actually about. Right. It is about
Right.
agency for these people, how these people are abused, how this underclass is abused, and how they take agency in their own hands.
Right. So basically, yeah, we get the announcement that they've changed the rules. They've changed the rules of the game. Now 2 people can win provided they're from the same district. So this is basically them allowing Katniss and Peeta to team up. So Katniss goes looking for Peeta and finds him that he's like basically painted himself. He's done like One with Shadows or whatever. He's done like the hiding.
He's like in Prop Hunt. Like,
Yeah,
his eyes open in the mud. It's awesome.
This was such a wild connection, but it does make sense. Like, because he's like a baker, right? And because he's decorated like these kick-ass cakes, like as fancy as you can get in District 12, right? That gives him sort of a bonus to like your camouflage role.
Yeah, that's really funny. I think it's, everybody has like, Katniss has really high dexterity. She has the gloves of archery. She has the sharpshooter feat.
This is the sort of thing that like I would make an argument to my DM in like D&D. Like, like my background is tangentially related to this, so perhaps it could, it's plausible.
Yeah.
His character put icing on cakes. Let the man hide. And he needs to hide because he got the slash on the leg that kills you.
Instantly,
God. Down to the bone.
And Suzanne Collins loves being like, there was so much pus. Let me tell you. She loves to describe this really, really gnarly shit.
Also, Katniss specifically is kind of squeamish when it comes to like, she's not squeamish when it comes to like killing and gutting animals, but any sort of like illness and sickness really grosses her out. So
that
she
messes
like
her
has
up,
to
and also nudity messes her up. Like she is like she's not made of iron to all things. There are things that really bother her, and I like that.
Right?
A lot.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care if you see my dick, and she's like, I don't want to see your dick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she like basically has to stop herself from throwing up when like they get the pus out of his leg and stuff like that. And yeah, he's like mega dying, and she's like, okay, well, yeah, he's mega dying. I need antibiotics for him or he's gonna die. And she realizes, because she's very good at predicting what Haymitch wants, she's like, okay, he needs me to play up the romance angle in order for him to give me stuff to save Peeta's life. So she starts like kissing him and like acting like they're a couple, and yes, he sends her a vaccine, like a syringe with antibiotics to save her.
She's got to fight for it, but
this is a little bit more portrayed in the film. Like it's not extended, like there's just like flashes of it, but like in the background it is implied that like Haymitch is wheeling and dealing with sponsors, like trying to get people to fund this stuff. And again, like as you touched on before, Aisha, right? Part of Haymitch not sending her water at first, right? It's not just that they think the same and she's trying to suss him out. Like, it's also, you have to ration these sponsor gifts because they get like exponentially more expensive as the games go on.
Right.
I was just thinking about like applying for artistic grants right now. I was like, you really do a song and dance for what's pocket change to these assholes.
Right. You have to make out with your dying friend.
So, tell us how like sad and poor and how much you want to make out with boys you are. That's how you gotta get that.
I get my rib removed and I have to like write a grant to get my dilaudid.
Yes.
So basically for the rest of the games, basically the rest of it is her like nursing Peeta back to health, and then the two of them trying to kill the rest of the. And eventually, like, they get everybody down after a fight with some wolves that are like.
That
like,
part's insane.
This was so stupid.
It's really weird.
The editor was like, Suzanne, you got to put in more sci-fi bullshit. And she's like, but I want to describe more ways a body can get infected. I want to describe veins having poison in them. They're like, So then you got to put werewolves that represent each of the different contestants
So
in here.
Yeah.
So
for some
y'all
fucking
y'all
reason.
y'all two have read the rest of the series. I have not. Is this anything? Is it brought back like this idea that you can repurpose like dead human bodies into other things?
I think it is brought back.
Okay.
There are more weird creatures, but there is more weird science stuff that comes back.
There's in the sewers underneath the Capitol, there are lizard men.
Yeah, lizard men. Yeah,
Of course,
there are
there's a
lizard
sewer
men.
level.
Yeah,
There is literally
don't
a
worry about
sewer
it.
level in the last book. Yes.
Yeah. Which heavily features my man, water boy, like gay water boy. What is his fucking name? I don't know. I can't remember.
Finnick, right?
Finnick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, at the very end, they fight some mutated wolves, and then at the very last second, they come on and they're like, "Actually, we changed the rules back. Only one person can win," which was their
that
plan
was
the whole
so
time.
funny.
Mhm.
I am imagining everybody at home being like, "This is bullshit!" Like rules
Yeah.
lawyers,
Oh,
people in
yeah.
the forums, like mad as hell. They're like, "What is
Yeah.
this?" The
Well, and
developers
they-
are washed this season,
and they try and
Producers suck.
they try and sort of paper it over in the book, right? Oh well, upon further examination, like of the rule book, it turns out we can't do this after all. Sorry.
There actually is a rule that says a dog can't play basketball.
Yeah, my
Um,
bad. So
so-
Katniss is like, "What if we Romeo and Julieted this?"
Yeah,
this
what
book?"
if we just fucking killed ourselves then? Because this is bullshit and they have to have a winner or like everything, or like what is the point of this? Like they need a winner for like propaganda.
Yeah.
They need the winner to go on a propaganda tour around like the districts.
And if
So
there's not a
they-
winner, they can't have their bootstrap story either,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like,
They
it is
can't
just the
have
summary execution of 24 people.
the
in
bootstrap
that
story,
case.
and also like I imagine like this is something Collins does so much better than King, right? When the regular person like Richards is interacting with like the officials of the state, right, of the network, right? She depicts so much more deftly how much it sucks to be working for the Capitol. Like whether you're a winner of the Hunger Games like Haymitch, whether you're a representative like Effie, right? It's you enjoy privilege, yes, but you're also the figurehead of a violent apparatus who will be the first burned in effigy thereof in the event of a riot.
There's only one
Right.
man that has a good job in this entire world, and it's Caesar Flickerman.
Yeah, I love Caesar Flickerman.
I have long
Anyway.
wanted to write a short story or a book from the perspective of like the announcer of like a death games. I've always thought that would be a fun thing, but I've never quite had the angle on it in my head. Yeah, they beat the Capitol. They beat the Capitol
Yeah,
with their own
they-
game.
Both are about to eat poison berries, and the Capitol's like, okay, never mind, they both win.
And of course, that people are watching this live, so that deeply embarrasses the Capitol.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like the Capitol
So-
is shown to be beaten at their own game.
And also,
arbitrary.
like, and PETA is like mega dying at this
Mhm.
point. Like
Oh,
he's
yeah.
been like bitten or shot or something. I can't even remember. PETA's always mega dying.
He
So
loves to be dying. This
Yeah,
will
he loves to be
continue across
dying.
the books.
yeah. So oh god, PETA is the most like PETA's like a battered woman. He is like a battered wife. So
Imagining Lois
basically,
going,
like they bring him up, and because Katniss is like so like starving, like hurt, she just like fucking freaks the fuck out and is like fighting them and trying to get to PETA as they're like doing surgery on him.
Mhm.
And then they literally have to tranquilize her. And when she wakes up, she has her hearing back, and all of her scars, even the ones from before the Hunger Games, are completely gone. And that, to me, is so sickening.
Mhm.
Like they
Yeah.
just completely erase everything. Like they're like, oh, you're part of the upper class now. We're gonna erase all the suffering
Yeah.
that you went through. We've erased. And then you also find out that Haymitch had to fight the surgeons from stopping
They
stopping
wanna
them from like giving her a boob job and like BBLs or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
It's notable, like, you know, she's 16, and there's
Mhm.
numerous times in this, like, she and then also other girls, even more so in the games, have to like play up their sex appeal.
Yeah.
Um,
also, she's just like completely naked in front of multiple grown
oh,
men. Like
constantly.
Cinna, who's very gay coded, but
Yeah.
also like it still is her and a grown man just like standing there when
This
she's
is
completely naked.
it is such a violation, right? And it's part of the genius of this book that yeah, like you win the Hunger Games, but you don't actually win like Panem, right? You don't win in
Right.
life because like you have earned the right basically to be a tool of the capital, to be a creature of this ruling class and to be, you know, so deeply violated as to be, you know, not just rhetorically, right, but physically you embody this thing that they've teased out of you.
They've taken your
Right.
body away. You
Hmm.
even find out in subsequent books that they've taken like the men's ability to grow facial hair away. Like
Yeah.
things like that. Like to be exactly how they want them to be. Yeah. It is it's really upsetting. And then you get this moment where Haymitch is like, "Hey, you really, really got to lean into the you were just so obsessed with PETA, you did that. Because if anyone catches wind that you were trying to be resistant or give a middle finger to the system, like they can mess you up." And you have this
Yeah.
moment where she's about to go out to be again received by the crowds and Caesar Flickerman. And it says, "When I left the arena, when the trumpets played, I was supposed to be safe from then on for the rest of my life. But if what Haymitch says is true, and he's got no reason to lie, I've never been in such a dangerous place in my life. It's so much worse than being hunted in the arena. There I could only die, end of story. But out here, Prim, my mother, Gail, the people of District 12, everyone I care about back home could be punished if I can't pull off the girl driven crazy by love scenario Haymitch has suggested. So I still have a chance, though. Funny, in the arena, when I poured out those berries, I was only thinking about smarting the game makers, not how my actions would reflect on the Capitol. But the Hunger Games are their weapon, and you were not supposed to be able to defeat it. So now the Capitol will act as if they've been in control the whole time, as if they orchestrated the whole event right down to the double suicide. But that will only work if I play along with them." And then at the very end of the chapter, it says, "The most dangerous part of the Hunger Games is about to begin."
Hmm.
Right. So basically, the Hunger Games ends with her trying to basically become one of the good ones. Like,
Yes.
she's like, if I just do what I'm supposed to do, if I just become small and do not rebel, they will leave me alone. And as we'll discover in the next book, that is not true.
Yes.
So yeah, this book ends in a very bleak place. Actually, every book ends in all of these books end in quite
Yeah.
a bleak place, which is one of the reasons that I like them so much. I kind of want to talk a little bit about the place that these books have kind of fallen into in pop culture, because I do think that these books get more shit from like the left than they deserve.
Mm.
I think that there's this idea, like, when the whole sort of a dystopia is just a scenario where what if things that happen all over the world happened to white people?
Hmm.
And in a certain capacity, that's true. Like, that is always going to be true when an American writes a dystopia story. But I also think this is extremely a book about the Imperial Core.
Hmm.
Like, this is not a book that I think, this is a book that had to have been written by an American. Like, just because of the voyeurism in this book. And I actually, like, there's a part of me that had like listened to the discourse and convinced myself that this book is like not good, but I'm wrong. It is very good. And I do think she knows what she's talking about.
Hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. And like this, the stratification as well of the districts, like this crossed my mind when we were discussing the Avox girl, but like one wonders, okay, so what is the big crime that she's committed, right? We don't, to my knowledge, maybe it's different, maybe it's revealed in the next two books what she did, but like all we have access to and what I tend to believe is this idea that fleeing itself was the crime, right? Because you can't have people going between districts except in a way that's prescribed by the capital, right? You can't have people knowing that they have so much more in common. You can't have people knowing that conditions here are actually not as, you don't eat just because you're in the food district, right? It is entirely possible indeed to live in the imperial core and be completely cut off from conditions in the global south, from conditions like here at home, or if you that are extremely dire, or indeed if you see them, to have a narrative spun up to naturalize it, right?
Right.
And so much of the American Imperial Project has been constructing that fiction, right? I couldn't help but think, like, there's a bit where Katniss says that, yeah, we got an orange and that was like the big splurge for my family, right? I mentioned this in the chat. My grandfather was born in 1926 and he lived through the Great Depression. And there was one Christmas during this time where his father, my great granddad Taylor, brought home a single grapefruit, and that was his Christmas gift to the family, right? That's all they could afford for one. And what follows on the heels of the Great Depression, right? One of the greatest periods of labor militancy in the US,
Mhm.
right? When conditions got so sharp that, FDR was forced to do the New Deal or else risk, the overthrow of capitalism, right? So, like,
Right.
so much of this is not just about reminding people that, like, the capital has power, but also keeping them divided and
Right.
keeping them from ever putting it together.
Right. And so much of the American imperial project is keeping us divided from the global south. Being like, you don't, those, like, that's like seeing reading this book after October 7th, I feel like is a different experience than reading it before. Because, like, seeing how the entire Western hegemony has, like, just barreled down on this tiny group of people. Because if these people can win, that means Western hegemony is, you can beat it. Like, if Palestine is allowed to be free, it's fucking Jover. I mean, like, that's kind of like, that's, Shiloh agrees. And that's like why that's why all the hatred and militancy against Cuba, because they beat us and we cannot let that stand. And that is really like that's kind of what Catching Fire is about. It is like literally like The Empire Strikes Back. Like, what is the capital going to do to her now that she's beaten them? And yeah, listeners, let us know if you want us to do the next 2 books, because we are totally willing to.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Well, before we wrap up for today, let me wrap up our Hunger Games.
Oh yeah, let's see. I need to know who wins.
Yeah, who gets prongled?
Or wait, should we wait and keep doing it through to the next?
Is there enough?
There's not that much left. We've already lost a lot of people.
All right.
Well, on the last day, not a lot has gone on, except unfortunately, Shiloh does bleed out due to environmental circumstances.
Oh, honey.
Sorry, Shiloh.
No.
I mean, nobody was able to kill her,
Yeah.
No. And you just mostly have people that are like running into each other. They don't end up fighting alongside.
I like
each other.
how like social and not violent this Hunger Games is.
Yeah,
everyone
really
is just kind of hanging out.
Well, at this point on the next night, the secret history polycule, they've all gotten an infection, presumably an STI. The Grink and Katniss now team up to fight Hot Gollum and Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Katniss stole my girl?
Yes. Trevor Strunk sets Rue on fire with a Molotov.
Jesus.
Oh my god!
Take
The
no
cow from
prisoners.
The cow from Cowtool passes out from exposure. Robert Gaywick kills Yukio Mishima. Aisha begins to question her sanity. Jen cannot figure out how to start a fire. As the day begins, Katniss assaults the secret history polycule, killing them all. And Aisha sees the fight, tries to intervene, and gets killed by Katniss. Sorry, Aisha.
Damn. I made it pretty far. And I did get that Grink pussy.
Mm-hmm.
The Grink and
Gristy.
Jen duel, but both escape. And Draco Malfoy dies of an infection.
Also probably an STI.
Yes, almost for sure. The
who's
Cal from
left?
Cal Tools is saved by an unknown sponsor. And Robert Gaywick is saved by an unknown sponsor.
Oh my god, Robert Gaywick is still alive? That's
It's
crazy.
it's Dono Gaylord.
As
Yeah.
night 4 begins, yeah, it's definitely Gaylord who's saving him. As the night begins, Katniss, the Cal from Cal Tools, and Trevor Strunk form an alliance. Robert Gaywick nearly freezes to death. The Grink receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor, and Jen is now dying of an infection. Unfortunately, Robert Gaywick is blown up on the next day.
No.
No! We're all rooting for you.
Oh boy.
And Jen begins to stalk Katniss personally.
Avenge me, Jen.
On night 5, the Cal from Cal Tools and Katniss encounter each other. They fight. The Cal from Cal Tools wins, but then decides not to kill Katniss.
What?
Wow.
All right,
Magnanimous.
let's see.
I call bullshit.
Trevor Strunk and Jen form an alliance, and Trevor Strunk tends to Jen's wounds. Nothing else happens on that day. No one else dies on that day. God.
This is
Katniss
so
then
long.
dies of dysentery. Trevor Strunk and the Grink snuggle. Of course, third snuggle.
God, now everybody's stealing my woman.
Let's see. Trevor Strunk attacks Jen, but she manages to escape. Jesus Christ. The Grink eats toxic berries. R.I.P. the Grink.
Guys.
He's dead.
All right.
He had a good
We're
one.
down to 3. Trevor Strunk, the Cal from Cal Tools, and Jen. Who are we betting on, folks?
Oh, it's gotta be the cow.
Yeah, it's gotta be the cow from Cow Tools.
All
Like,
right,
we
let's
love you,
see.
Jen, but that
Yeah,
that
let's be
prongler,
real.
the prongler is just unbeatable.
Jen nearly freezes to death. Trevor Strunk tries to treat an infection he has, and the Cal from Cal Tools dies from his wounds.
Oh.
Mm.
Jen and Trevor Strunk face off at the cornucopia, and Jen strangles Trevor Strunk to death after engaging in a fist fight.
Let's
Wow,
go.
Jen won. That's
Jen
incredible.
Big Nasty from District 2, funny detail they added there, is the winner of the Hunger Games.
Okay.
Hell
okay,
yeah.
Cool. So District 2
Let's
is
fucking
Texas.
go.
That's excellent. I can't. The three of us.
Yeah, we gotta
went
tell her.
down- The three of us went down like punks.
Hey,
it's-
listen.
you killed a lot of guys, though.
I lasted a little. I lasted long enough to get
That's
some,
true.
some Grink pussy.
Lenore and I went down like punks. Aisha, you had like a higher kill count than anybody else. You
Mhm.
just didn't make
Yeah.
it to the end.
It's,
Yeah.
it's canonical. My cat is harder to catch than like I would be.
I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And no
I mean,
one
that's
could
true.
kill it.
I feel like a cat would like absolutely destroy the Hunger Games.
That's true. Except
I
maybe
think all
eating
my
some
cats could-
stupid poison berries or some shit.
All my cats could.
Well, what
win
if they
the
bring
Hunger
back all
Games,
the dead tributes as like evil cats?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Then you're
like
fucked.
the cats from the movie Cats, they're singing songs about their backstories, magical
Yeah.
Mr. Mistopheles and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway, good
Fun
book.
shit.
Recommend.
what
Mhm.
are
If
we
you haven't
covering-
read it, if you missed it, read it.
Yeah, it's still out there. What are we
Yeah.
covering next week? I forget.
I don't know.
Have
Have
we
we
not
decided?
decided?
I don't think we have. Should we just read Catching
We
Fire?
could do Catching Fire.
I'm
for
down.
Catching Fire. Let's just do
Yeah.
it. Let's do Catching
We don't
Fire.
have anything else lined up. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
no,
just
we
do
don't.
it.
I know we
So
asked.
whether listeners, whether or not you want us to do it, we're gonna do it.
Fire
Fuck
has
you.
been caught. I think it's good to just go on. We're kind of on a dystopia kick right now.
Yeah.
Have fun with this. It's Catching Fire, folks. You're hearing if this is left in, you're now hearing how the sausage gets made. Mostly, it's just kind of us being like, "So what you want to do?"
Mhm.
Yeah. And then I'm like, I have another gay book for us.
Yeah, Catching Fire. My
Anything.
fan fiction
Yeah,
about Gale and
that's
PETA.
my critique. Could be gayer.
Look, when I get a hold of Gale, adult Gale, once he's turned 18.
I think he is 18.
Okay, great. Liam Hemsworth is what I'm picturing here. Okay.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, Gale becomes quite violent and epic. So we'll see.
Yeah. Listeners, of course, please keep sending in suggestions. Maybe maybe there'll be like I don't know, we'll work it into the Patreon somehow. Like anything to stave off the day that I forced Jacob to read The President's Daughter.
I have nothing to say about that.
Once
That's
we
not-
get 1,000 Patreon subscribers,
I
we
will read it
read
a
The
1,000
President's
Patreon
Daughter.
subscribers.
That'll be our live show.
Once again, reminder, folks, let us know what you want to see out of Patreon. It is workerslit@gmail.com. Send us an email. And folks, do we have anything else?
Listen to All My Maidens.
Listen to All My Maidens, and may the odds be ever in your
May the odds be all ever in your favor.
Find
I
somebody
guess.
to
I
hook
almost said
up
may
with
the
to live
odds-
longer.
I almost said may the odds be ever in your maidens.
May the odds be. Is that? Do they say that in the book, or is that just from the movie?
May the odds be ever in your favor. No, it's in the book in the beginning.
Oh, may the odds be ever in your favor. Peace, folks. Do
Bye.
do do do.